All right, so I want to show you how to do a scatter plot and least squares regression line on your calculators, okay? So this is a bunch of data. I weeded out, there was hundreds of cars on this, but I weeded it down just to a handful of cars, some that you may like. I like the Subaru Impreza WRX STI 4-door. I'd love to have that car, but I'm not going to spend that much money on a car. This, my father-in-law used to own one of them, and a Miata. It was pretty sick. BMW 325 I've driven. But anyhow, you don't want to hear about my car history. I am going to compare the retail price and the horsepower and just see if there's a correlation between those, and we can discuss the scatter plot, okay? So I put in all this data. If you want to put it in your calculator, you can do the same. You just go to your calculator and hit Stat, Edit, and you clear your list, and you put whatever you want one of your variables to be in L1 and your other variable to be in L2. And I think I have some typos here, so I'm going to have to fix that. 138, and down here was 180. And I'll just make sure that the rest of my data is in good shape. Oh, down here, this 33.5 should be 340 and 315. Okay, so once you have your data in, then what you want to do is hit second y equals, and you go into plot one, make sure it's on, and you set it to this very first one, which is scatter plot. Whichever one you want to be your x variable, your explanatory variable, you put in L1, or you match up with the x list, and your response variable, you make your y list. And so I want L1 to be the price to explain horsepower, right? You had better be paying for more horsepower with your cars, okay, is my thought. So now if I want to just graph it, I can hit zoom 9, and I see my plot right here, right? And this is something that has a low cost but a lot of horsepower. Maybe there was a typo in it, but maybe it's just a cheaper car. So I could go and look at that, but I'm not going to go searching for it at the moment. All right, that's a really expensive car that also has a lot of horsepower. Now, how do we get a scatter plot out of this? So if you go to Stat and you go over to Calculate, there's a linreg ax plus b or a plus bx. They both do exactly the same thing. The a plus bx looks more like what you're used to on your stats formula sheet, and this looks more like your mx plus b that you're used to in class. So it doesn't really matter. I'll just do linreg ax plus b. Okay, and it'll get my x list from L1, my y list from L2. I leave this blank, but store reg EQ. What this is nice is it will create a regression equation, and it will store it in your y1 equals if you tell it to, okay? And so your y1 is a variable. So I hit vars, and then I go over because I want the y vars. And then it's a function. We're not in polar coordinates or parametric, so we say function y1, and it'll take my regression equation and put it into y1 for me. And then I hit calculate. And notice I get y equals ax plus b. This a is my slope, and this b is my y-intercept, which is saying if a car was free, then it would get me 163 horsepower, according to this. Okay, but that's my slope. What I don't have is my r and my r squared. And so what you want to do with that is you can hit mode, and down here it says stats diagnostics. You want to come down here. You only have to do this once and turn it on. Okay, and now if I do my linear regression again, I can just hit enter. It'll do the linear regression, and I get my r, which is my correlation coefficient. So it's not a very strong correlation. Watch if I graph. Because I stored it in my y1, now it says y1 equals, and when I graph it, it'll show my least squares regression line going through there, okay? So that's how you can do this on your graphing calculator, and it's pretty helpful, pretty awesome that you can do that. And this is clearly a way larger data set than you'd be doing in any class period. But you put your data into stat edit, you put it in L1, L2, and then you can do stat, calculate, linear regression, store it by using vars. So store reg EQ, vars, go over to y vars, function y1, enter. Okay. If you have an older calculator, to turn on diagnostics, you need to go to memory and where is it? It should be catalog. Oh, second 0, sorry, catalog. And now D, I'm gonna hit the letter D, which is right above this X inverse button. It'll bring me to the Ds. And this is every single command in your calculator. And you can just hit diagnostics on, hit enter, enter, and it says done. Now, when you do a regression, it will have the diagnostics on for you, okay? And it should give you that R squared and that R. All right, so good luck. I hope this is helpful. We'll see you later.